Ken. I want to go to Philadelphia 38, New York Giants 20, the Scadaboo injury that happens about twice a year where you watch it and you're sick to your stomach. But the bigger story of this game is A.J. Brown, due to a hamstring, didn't play, and Jalen Hurts was unbelievable. And the Philadelphia offense was unbelievable. And Devontae Smith had 6 catches. And the run game had 277 yards. And they averaged 7.5 yards a carry against a good defensive front. It is pretty obvious that A.J. Brown at the trade deadline, I mean, addition by subtraction sounds weird. I know fans can struggle with that, John. Like, you're like, how can you lose him and be better? But you get into these locker rooms, and when you feel like you remember when Dak took over the Cowboys, and that sense you had to get it to Dez. And the truth is, Dak was like, okay, I'm spending all this time worrying about one guy. And Dak's always been a guy that likes to spread the ball around. Like he likes to spray it around the infield. Philadelphia today, 38 points. Offense hasn't looked better, and A.J. Brown didn't play. To me, if that's not, I think Philadelphia was really interested on what they would look like today without him. Do you think they're going to move him at the deadline?
Well, plus, I mean, Washington plays tomorrow, but they're a 12-point dog at Arrowhead. Their season's in shambles. The Cowboys' defense, I mean, best case scenario, they're an 8-1 team. And obviously the Giants' season is over. So if you're the
Right.
Eagles, you go, our division's over. We're set. So now it's just about trying to get seeding, get that number 1 seed, and how do we match up Rams, Seattle, Detroit. So to me, that's the conversation around A.J. Brown. Because one thing, Howie and the Eagles are pretty good. They got a lot going on at all times, and they're kind of unfazed by it. Howie, like, one of Howie's best friends is Brian Cashman. Like, they're used to, he's comfortable
Noise.
in that environment. I think some, like Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, they don't like it. They don't want that. I think the Harbaugh brothers aren't. Howie kind of thrives off that. So I think a lot of people think get rid of AJ. Not that they're against it. And I saw some quotes that Jeffrey Lurie had at the owners' meetings this week. Like, yeah, we'll trade him if it's good for us. But they're not afraid to deal with it. Him posting on Instagram, unfazed by it. And listen, I'll give Sirianni credit. They have kind of molded him in the, like, you got to be able to handle this to coach in Philly, and he kind of can't. But
Yeah.
I do think if they go, listen, are we better off? Does it free Jalen up a little bit? Can we also transition to the next several years? Because some of these core guys aren't going away. Can we get 2-2s from New England and give him back to Vrabel? Can we get a bidding war going with some AFC teams for his services? To me, New England makes a lot of sense. And, would you take a 2 and a 3 for him right now and just be like, hey, let's get rid of some money. Let's pivot, make him happy. We don't have to
Yeah.
see this team. So I definitely think it's on the table. But if you're New England, because I think a lot of people are going to be Vrabel, they could use a little more offensive firepower. Like, are your schedule's pretty easy? Who is really giving up a lot for AJ? And that's where it gets to, like, how he's not just going to give him away for like a 3rd-round pick. But, like, are people bidding against each other for the guy who, let's face it, freak. I mean, extremely, can be a little tough.
Yeah.
So to me, that's where Vrabel makes sense because he knows him. But I could see some of these other organizations like, yeah, I don't really want to, like the Bills. They've kind of done that with Diggs, and it's like, I don't think that's really their thing.
Well, and also
So,
New England's wide receivers, and a lot of it's because of Drake May, they all look capable. They all make
yeah.
catches. They're
And don't you
fine.
need those picks moving forward with your young
Yeah.
quarterback? Like, this
The
year
only
making the
thing I,
playoffs,
I,
win
I
11
could
games would be pretty good.
I could see New England saying, we're really young. We don't need more draft picks. Like, we love our core. We got a lot of young guys, especially on offense. Our left tackle, our running back, our quarterback. Hunter Henry's like a rare veteran guy. We could use a veteran presence. I've heard GMs have told me before, sometimes if you make a big deal, you don't want just 5 draft picks. You'd like a player because you don't want to, you don't want, like, certain coaches, Belichick on defense and McVay on offense, they don't like to. Terrence Ferguson finally last week in week 7 got looks as they're one of their top draft picks at tight end. Like, they just don't want to play guys early. So, yeah, no, I look at Philadelphia. I think you make a great point. Dallas can't defend. Giants can't score. It's a bad year for Washington, health and beyond. It's Philadelphia. And so at this point, I've said this though, John, the only thing that gets or punctures momentum and a loaded roster is drama. It is the only thing. And I'm watching them today and I'm like, oh shit, they almost have 300 yards rushing. Some of this is tied to A.J. Brown's absence. Like they're just free to do what they want to do.
Well, and to me, it felt like first couple plays of the game, Saquon takes it 65, 70
Yeah,
yards. That looked exactly like the carbon copy last week. Now, I understand that they need some outside pass rush help. Do you think it's random that they re-signed Brandon Graham, a veteran presence who can come in that locker room, calm everyone down a little bit? Maybe you bring him back, and it does open you up. Hey, we got a little more. We don't need AJ, chirping
right,
if he's truly not happy because you've been talking about this for a while. He's clearly not. Those two are not friends anymore. And
right.
it's like it's not one of those situations. It's like, hey, my linebacker and my quarterback hate each other. Whatever. They barely see each other. They're never. This is kind of an important relation. They're in the huddle every time together. He's, I mean, one of the best players, not on your team, but in the league. So like his words do have some juice, even if the younger players are like, hey, listen, I don't want to get involved in this. It can become an issue where the coaching staff and Howie are unfazed by it, and even Jalen. I think his personality, he's really good at just kind of being, blinders on, moving forward. But
Yep.
I think AJ's been trying to like throw gasoline on this fire, and everyone else is like calm
Well,
down. So it's he. I don't know if it's going to go away. So I would say that trading him, I've never thought they would. I would give it a decent opportunity. Again, assuming someone's willing to pay the market rate because they're not just going to give him away to get him out of there.
well, I was told this summer by an NFL exec that Jalen wasn't beloved in the locker room because he's not really one of the guys. He's super mature. And I think A.J. Brown wanted to stir things maybe a little. Jalen doesn't bite on it. That's just not
No.
who he is. And so, and I've said this before is that, Brady did a great job in New England to like introduce himself to the 21-year-olds. But a lot of these older quarterbacks, it's like, guys, I listen to the Rolling Stones. I mean, you
Yeah.
listen to bands I've never heard of. And I think Jalen Hurts is uniquely mature. I mean, when Dak came in, Dez wasn't mature enough for Dak. Like Dak's like, "Hey, I can't babysit you, bro. I'm trying to figure this league out. I just don't have time. I mean, Dak's really mature for his age, and I think Jalen Hurts is. And when it happens, it's when you're mature at 23 or 24 years old, and most young men aren't. I mean, if you look at crime statistics, binge drinking statistics, who gets into trouble with sports gambling, it's young men. They're not terribly mature. So it's almost like a burden or a punishment when you're as mature as Jalen Hurts. You're attracted to older people. Your friends are in their mid 30s or 40s because most young men aren't mature, especially pro athletes who have been sort of, protected or coddled. And so I think with Jalen Hurts, he's never going to be the best. He's never going to be everybody's best buddy. He's not going to relate to a lot of these young. The NFL's never been younger. So I just don't think this team needs AJ Brown. And
Does it make sense to trade AJ Brown because he could end up going to a contender? Do you want him against Keely Ringo or Adoree Jackson in the playoffs? We were 1-2 without AJ Brown last year. We don't win the Minnesota Vikings or the Rams game unless AJ Brown goes completely crazy. Yeah, we scored 38 against the Giants with a banged up secondary, but if we had him, we could have probably scored 40 or 50 like we did versus the Commanders and the Chiefs in the playoffs last year. Also, we don't beat the Rams in the snow unless we hit A.J. Brown on the fourth and fifth slant. A more formidable team would easily stack the box if they only have to focus on Devontae Smith, but they're not able to do that when we have A.J. Brown because every time they try that single high safety, they just lob it up to A.J. Brown for 30 to 50 yards to ice games away. But you guys let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think A.J. Brown is going to get traded? Do you think he's going to stay? What would you want in return if A.J. Brown were to get traded? Anyway, and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It's free. Let's build this community together and go Birds.